We have a huge treat here. Here we are with Danor.
What's up?
It took a while to be able to get this to happen. This
Yeah.
this is months in the making, but we were finally able to nail him down in his busy schedule. More than anything, so that we can learn a lot of what Danor's been doing to become who he is, to have the balanced life he has, and to be the success that he is. Danor, thank you for joining us, man.
Hey, my pleasure.
Good to have
my
you.
pleasure. Yeah.
I know you were killing it in there.
You're trying.
Both a little bit sweaty,
Yeah.
but making time. So the family and I thank you for this time for sure.
No problem. No problem.
Tell us, Danor, a little bit about, I know there's a lot, but break us down a little bit about what you are balancing right now. What's everything that you have going on?
Okay. Well, my profession is multifaceted. I'm an actor. I do some modeling. I also own a production company, so I do training videos, commercials, do stuff for the Sundance Film Festival and a lot of other clients, documentaries, all sorts of stuff like that. And of course, I'm married. I have 3.5 kids on. I've got one on the way, a little surprise caboose coming. And I have, leadership roles in, the community and the church that I do things with. So it's a lot on my plate.
Now did you work out some deal where you don't have 24 hours in a day? You must have like 48 hours in a day or something like that, right?
I wish.
That's what it seems like you would need.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that, because you're accomplishing the same amount in the same amount of time as most of us just dream of.
Right, yeah.
What are some of the things that you do, the strategies that you have personally that you've developed and learned and grown into that help you be most intentional with your time in order to build that balance?
Okay, well, there's a lot going on, and so I kind of do a little bit different strategy for different aspects of my life. And so, for example, when it comes to business, if I've got to, get a production deadline that I've got to meet, an audition that I've got to get to, and a booking, and say all those things are in the same week, I know what my deadlines are. Then one of the things that I do is I make a really simple index card. I have a little index card holder that's almost like a file folder, and I have each month and a set of cards in each month, and every day I'll write down the date and what are the tasks I want to accomplish this day that are related to this. And then sometimes I'll put something on there like, make sure you go to the store and pick up an inner tube to fix my daughter's bike, and that sort of thing. So and I just check them off as I go throughout the day, because I find that a lot of times I can get pretty easily distracted. I'm pretty active on social media and stuff like that, and I have a lot of great people I follow on Instagram and whatnot. So my feed is so fun that I'll sometimes catch myself on there for 30 minutes and I'm like, okay, I gotta get moving. But that's one thing I do for work, is keep that index card every day until everything's checked off. Then I create a new index card for whatever. As far as family and other things, it's just making sure that some of the key things are scheduled. Like, we do family scripture study every day. My son, today was the first day of school for us, actually, and so my son's starting high school now, and he had to be at school for like 7:15 or something like that, or really early, and the other ones don't have to be at school until like 7:45. And so we got up at everybody had to be downstairs at the breakfast table at 6:20 in the morning, and we read our scriptures, we ate our breakfast, we talked about what's happening for the day, what everybody's got to do. And then my oldest went to catch the bus, and the other guys had 30 or 45 minutes left over, but I said, hey, that's not wasted time. Meditate, say prayers, go make your bed, just find something productive to do.
You're almost teaching them to be intentional at the same time.
Yeah. People think they have, extra time when they're early or something like that. It's like, no, that's just time for you to catch up on something, to take care of some of the little details that always end up slipping through the cracks. Yeah. And so that's it for me. I try to make sure that whatever I have planned, that I'm trying to make sure that it's in the schedule, and that I'm giving myself some extra time, because everything always takes longer than you think it's going to take.
Amen. You mentioned something that was interesting. So we get caught up in little things, right? Time flies by. Yeah. Sometimes, growing up in our area, right, just say no. Yeah. Sometimes we got to just say no to those little things that take us away from the most important things. Yeah. If there was a couple things that you could share with those out there that you would say, hey, it's important to say no to this. To me, sometimes we hear the word addiction and we think that's scary, right? that's drugs or alcohol, or that's pornography. That's to me, an addiction is anything that we're doing, big or even small, that we know we should be doing something else, and we can't pull our way from. Right? We can't pull ourselves away from doing what we should be doing, even though it's harmless.
Right.
In that moment, at that level, that's an addiction.
Well,
what are some of the things that you would say it's important to say no to, or pull yourselves away from, to focus on the most important?
You know, I can't tell you. I'm thinking there's probably something better than this, but the format of what we're doing is kind of what I'm thinking of. I have caught myself, and not as much recently, but in years past, I've caught myself wasting hours on Facebook or on YouTube, and there's a lot of good stuff on there. I stay in touch with my family, and sometimes I learn how to do something I don't know how to do on YouTube. But when I catch myself sort of rambling and meandering and getting in trolling fights with people about politics or something like that, to me is a definite bad thing. Like you could be doing something more productive with that time, and it gives you this false sense of accomplishment when you engage sometimes on Facebook with some argument, like you've somehow helped make the world a better place, when really tomorrow everybody's going to forget about it anyway. So
but it took your time from today.
Yeah, it took away your time from today, and we only have that, like you said, that 24 hours, and it flies by fast. It's consistent, and that's the thing I think that we have to do, is self-evaluate and just think, okay, success is basically built on consistency, right? The world kind of doesn't want you to necessarily think that. It thinks you got to do something big and flashy, and then all of a sudden you've made it. No, that's not true. I've been acting professionally for over 25 years, and I've done a lot of big stuff, but it's not like I had all of a sudden one big hit and now everybody knows who I am. But I've been consistently doing it, and I have a family, I own a house, I have a couple cars. I mean, I've been to Africa. The life I live is extraordinary compared to most of the people in the world, and I'm doing what I love in the process. So the consistency of it has been what has made the difference. I know a lot of people who have just given up. So I think that's the key.
And I don't have to tell my family that you're a big deal, because they have consistently seen you over and over. Seen you over and over, whether it's driving on the road, whether it's in the movies they're watching, the shows. Yeah. So that consistency is funny, because it wasn't just one time that they said, hey, I know that. It was consistently, they're seeing you
absolutely
a bunch.
That's what makes a difference.
So I know and you're in phenomenal shape. You're doing amazing things in the gym. What we do in the gym is important, but it's what we do outside of the gym that makes what we do here impressive.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you are most, that you think in your life are most impressive outside of the gym?
That's tough. I don't really think of a lot of things that I do as impressive, but I notice that other people do, and that's part of it, is my career. I do a lot of different things. I've got 40 plus credits on IMDb, right? But what I think is more impressive than all of that, which other people think is really cool, is this idea of staying married, right? And having a close relationship with my children, and making sure like I don't miss basketball games and soccer games and cheerleading stuff, and I take my kids to those things, and that's part of the reason I love the career I have, because I have the control of my schedule and the flexibility, and allowing myself not to get so caught up in the hype of what I do versus like who I am and who I want to be, and the example I want to set for my kids. That to me is, I guess, worthy of being impressive, because it's really easy in my business to get your ego like completely out of control.
And I think what we believe is in the forum is, if you're not balanced in everything, you're not going to be best at anything.
Oh yeah, like it doesn't matter if you've made $1 million if your kids don't even like you.
Right. And maybe one of the reasons why you have those credits to your name, my kids see your face everywhere, is because you balanced outside of work, and that's allowed you to be great in work. Maybe.
I'm not going to lie. I've had blessings come just that I believe are simply because I focus on other things. Like I went back to school and got my degree at like in my 30s, right? I was already doing what I love, but I knew I wanted to do more. So I went back to school. I had 2 children. I was working full time. I was, in school full time. My wife was staying at home watching these 2 young kids and helping and raising them and stuff. And that, to me, getting that degree was important. But I noticed while I was focusing on the degree, I started doing my biggest movies, like I did High School Musical 2 and all that stuff. Because the reason why is because like I wasn't so focused on like I gotta get this job, I gotta become famous. I was like, you know what, I got homework to do, I got things to do. I was setting an example for my kids, like, look, you gotta go to school, get your education. And then all these blessings came because I wasn't so hyper focused on that. Right. And that's kind of against the grain of what most people think. Most people think to be successful, you have to be laser focused, work so hard, like dedicate yourself. There's this Chinese woman who has a manufacturing company. She started at the bottom in this sweatshop. Now she owns a thing. Mm-hmm. I read this in like it was like GQ magazine or something like that. So it was really credible. I don't remember her name, nothing like that. Mm-hmm. But she literally lived at the factory that she owned. Right. She worked 7 hours a day. She's got millions of dollars. She's got no husband, no kids, no family. Like, that's not success. Yeah. It's really not. So to me, the more you try to live a whole life, mm-hmm. the more wealth you really have in your life.
And living that whole life, the kids, the wife, the career, the projects, the gym, the volunteer, mm-hmm. it's a grind. And I think what I've noticed is the grind isn't the problem. The grind is the solution in order to get that balance.
I have a phrase since I've been back at the gym the last couple years and really dedicating, because I'm older than I look, and I'm trying to stay fit. Honestly, it helps for my career, but the main reason is because I want to be able to play with my kids all the way until they're out of the house. Right. If my boys want to go play basketball, I want to be there with them. And now I'm going to really have to work because I'm going to be like in my 60s by this time this one graduates. Yeah, the caboose is going to push me.
So the grind in the gym is the problem. The grind in the gym is going to end up being your solution.
That is my solution. Right?
That's your solution.
Totally. So my mantra is, if you don't stop, you won't stop. Right? So my wife's grandfather, he died in like his mid to early 90s, and all the way into his 80s, he was getting up at 5 a.m. and riding an exercise bike. And like, it took everything to take him out of life, right? And I looked at that and I went, you know what? He never stopped. And so he just kept going. Your body's designed to adapt to whatever you tell it to adapt to. So the grind of always paying attention to the things in life and keeping your priorities in order, your body, your mind, your spirit will adapt to that, and it will keep progressing. But progress doesn't come if you're just only concentrating on one thing. It's like if I did biceps every day in the gym all the time, that's all I did, I would not be a good looking or healthy person. I would be injured. So that's it.
That makes amazing sense.
Yeah.
You've taught us a lot. One last question for you and for everyone out there is, if you were to be remembered or known, one word, one phrase, what would that be?
That one's actually easy. That's the only easy question. That's everything else I've had to really think about. But another mantra that I live by is this: love is the answer. So now what's the question? Doesn't matter what the question is, love is the answer. If I could leave one legacy, one word, it would be love. Because no matter what it is, if it's motivated by love, if it's driven by love, if it's trying to create more love in the world, God will help you find a way, and you're going to feel joy when you're done doing it. And that's it.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for your time. You taught everybody.
My pleasure, man.
You're going to love this man. That's the answer. It doesn't matter what the question is. You're going to follow Danor. You're going to know him. You're going to get to know him. We're going to live by these teachings, and we're just grateful to have him as part of the community. So thank you so much.
Oh, it's an honor. Appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
Yep.